Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
Introducing a powerful new update from the Foojan app. Now with flexible subscription plans to fit your journey monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Our new AI-driven onboarding customizes your path to feeling better, faster, and enjoy a refreshed experience with stunning 3D interactive videos. Update now. Empower your inner voice with Foojan. Download today.
Welcome to the Inner Voice, a Heartfelt Chat podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Foojan Zeine. I'm a psychotherapist, an author, and the originator of the Awareness Integration Theory. And I'm so thrilled to have you join us today, especially, but I promise you that we're going to share something interesting with you. In this episode today, I actually have Dr. Behnam Bakhshandeh with me. He's an accomplished business manager known widely as a dynamic writer, speaker, personal and professional development coach, and a trainer. He implements his passion and visionary leadership skills. He produces extraordinary results in record time. And Dr. Bakhshandeh brings his broad experience and successful track record to each project that he creates and with companies, whether it involves personal development, implementing customer-focused programs, integrating technologies, redesigning operational core processes, or delivering strategic initiatives. Dr. Bakhshandeh's formal education includes, he has a PhD in workforce education and development with a concentration of organization development and human resource development from Pennsylvania State University, and a master's degree in professional studies in organization development and change from the Pennsylvania State University World Campus. He's also the co-founder, actually the founder, not a co-founder, he's a founder and the president of Primeco Education, is a coaching consulting company that has worked with individuals, teams, and organizations on personal and professional development for over 32 years. He's authored and published 10 personal and professional development books. I think he publishes 4 books a year. And I have been so lucky to not only have him as a good friend and a colleague. I've worked with him for almost over 25 years. We've developed different type of seminars and programs together. He has brought the work of awareness integration into the organization development and many of his books. And I just feel honored and amazed of having the collaboration together. And today we're going to actually talk about a book that we authored together, and it's called Awakened Leader, which is bringing and utilizing the concepts of organization development with the awareness integration theory together. And we'll share with you about the book and what it offers, and some of the concepts that are in it, and why we thought this would be important for people to know, because obviously we each take who we are into an organization and work for so many hours, and we take what work is and make it very, very personal. It becomes our identity. So it's so important to take the organization development and who you are as an individual and bring it together from the concept of awareness integration. I hope that you enjoy our conversation and it entices you to go get the book, Awaken Leadership. It's all over in Amazon. Now, be sure to subscribe to my podcast and my YouTube channel and connect with me through my website, foojanzeine.com, or any of the social media platforms, and share your thoughts with me. Go to your Apple Store or Google Play. Get Foojan app. We've had amazing results. We've had between 70% to 90% of life satisfaction and improvement in areas of life when people have taken the guided journaling that is offered by Foojan app in 31 areas of your life. And also you have Mira, which is your personal AI assistant that is trained specifically in the awareness integration. You can ask any questions you like about yourself in the areas of life, and Mira will answer you from the perspective of the awareness integration. We're really proud of it. We're getting amazing references from people who have used it and they really look at it as like, wow, it gave me so many tools. And it'll give you reflective questions for you to really ponder on. It'll give you specific steps in what to do to answer your questions and whatever it is that you're needing to take to your life. So Foojan app, you can get it from an Apple, or if you have Apple or Android. And we're constantly updating it. So definitely you have 3-day free. Go check it out. All right. Well, I love to hear from you. So write me, let me know, and what your questions are, so I can either answer them myself or bring experts for you who can answer your questions. Now, without further ado, it's Dr. Behnam Bakhshandeh.
Listen up if you want to promote your personal growth and self-awareness. I found the Foojan app last month and I have been absolutely loving it. I personally have never learned guided meditation, but thanks to this app, I now have learned incredible tools for my own stress relief and emotional self-awareness. Not to mention, there are self-evaluation tools and professional coaching available to utilize however your journey to self-discovery takes you. Join Foojan today and redefine your life one step at a time.
Intentional Parenting, a practical guide to awareness integration theory, written by Dr. Jafari, Dr. Foojan Zeine, and Dr. Manoukian, 3 experts in human development, is your step-by-step guide to raising a healthy child prepared for a culturally integrated world. You're supported in parenting infants to adolescents using the latest evidence-based scientific research on parenting. Order your copy on Amazon now.
I am so excited to have Dr. Behnam Bakhshandeh back again. Yes, I think you probably produce 2 books per year, or even sometimes more. And I'm so excited that today we're going to actually talk about the book that we've authored together. And it's been such a pleasure to be able to do this with you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Foojan. The pleasure is mine. Let me tell you, I enjoyed writing with you, especially because the topic always includes psychology. When you're working with someone that you trust their work, you respect their work, you know him personally, that was one of the easiest book I've manuscript together, because everything went so fast and it could be so much related to it, given I have worked with you myself. It was amazing. I can't wait. Seriously, I can't wait. And recently I do average 4 books a year. This is going to be the first book of this year coming out. And then another one in May and 2 more by end of the year. Yes.
Beautiful. So everybody, we're talking about the book, Awakened Leadership, Uniting Organization Development and Awareness Integration Therapy, which is a work that has been kind of brewing for a while, where obviously you, Dr. Bakhshandeh, had experienced the awareness integration therapy and theory, and then have used it in many of your other books as sometimes a conversation that was there, or at one point with a chapter that was just about that, and how we bring this into our life, especially our work, because our work environment is an environment that we spend between 8 to 10 hours, sometimes 12 hours a day. It's our relationship with everybody, and who we become and how we present ourselves at work is related to all other areas of our life, but also now, who we are as we grow and work as someone who's an employee. Then we become managers and, people who own their own businesses, who are executives, all of that, which you have not only studied, but also experienced in almost 30 years with different organizations, and then academia, and as you said, writing so many books about the organization development. But to bring these 2 concepts together, not only from an evaluation of how do we evaluate a system of an organization, and how can that system really produce, effective and proficient outcomes of not only human relation, but also service, and having the business be a lucrative business and offering all that it can to the public, but also from another angle of each person who is in that organization to be able to be responsible and accountable for their well-being and how they're relating and how they're contributing of all who they are to the company. And that brought these two topics together and brought the two of us together to write this book. Please share from your experience.
Well, the thing is, as you know, my career in coaching and consulting exceeds 3 decades, almost 32 years now. The fact of the matter is, you cannot provide coaching elements or processes without touching transformation. It's inseparable. It's come together, right? And you cannot work on transformation without touching on psychology. So I'm not a psychologist. I have a degree in psychology, but I'm not a psychologist. I have used humanitarian psychology and positive psychology and emotional intelligence as a side to make a point when I'm working as a consultant that who you are being determine how and what you're doing, right? For that, I have to bring that. And when you introduce integration, awareness integration theory, I think it was like 2013, 2012, I was so impressed. Like, wow, this is a simple way that you can bring psychology to it in a practical way that is not intimidating. As soon as they hear psychology, oh, am I a psycho? Am I crazy? Why do I need psychology in my business? No, it's awareness, the key word, the first word, it's awareness. And by bringing awareness, people can see how they operate. I always tell managers, corporate executives, let me hold your hand and take you outside the situation, and you and I look in the situation from outside, and then you tell me, what do you think of yourself? They don't like it because the bias is gone. And for that, I find the awareness integration theory very relative to this approach. And I really enjoyed reading your writings and added to the concept of organization development, which is a mix of psychology, social science, political science, and awareness. It was amazing. And I'm looking forward to coming out and I can actually tell people, read this. I can give it to clients, actually. It make my life easier.
The book has been written not only for the individuals who can read it and go through the exercises and really do that, but also for management in any area, with whether they're mid-management or all the way to executives, for small businesses who are dealing with so many employees, or international Fortune 100 companies. Because the system, I think that not only in this book we bring the concept of the organization development and how to assess and how to go, but also there are chapters written in how one individual can work on this on themselves, how to bring that into the structure of the meetings and how we actually look at the team together. How can the team utilize these approaches and, again, take responsibility, personal responsibility in how they're coming across and how they're relating to each other. And then, going up to up the ladder of the corporate and how they create the culture from the concept of the awareness integration into a whole system where each person has the accountability themselves and how they relate to each other. It's interesting because one of the things that is interesting, and I'm sure that you've probably experienced that depending on what type of family you come, and if you have that experience of being with siblings and how you related with your siblings and how you dealt with authority, whether you respected authority, whether you trusted authority, or the authority was, a bit, intrusive or hostile. That if we haven't really worked through or are not aware of those things, we take the same type of dynamic and we bring it with us when we are in a work situation, which we have authorities as our bosses and managers, and then we have our coworkers, which are our siblings, kind of, working around that area. And I've really noticed, people who are like firstborn or the only children, or somewhere in the middle, or the youngest one, they've created a pattern of being within a group and cooperating with a group that kind of like just passes on when you're in a corporation. And if you're not aware of all of this, that you continue these patterns from even one company to another, and sometimes it works and it's beautiful, and sometimes it doesn't, and we just shift companies without knowing that there is a part of us that is carrying these patterns from one job to the next. And it works when you're creating this awareness for yourself of, where is my patterns coming from? How can I heal what I needed to heal in order to move and be efficient and successful in any company that I'm actually going and being part of the whole team?
Funny thing is, you see me smiling because the last thing you said remind me of a client I had. That inside an organization, it's a nationwide organization, actually a global organization, but inside the USA department or sanction, this person moved through 5 different states. And each time when I was working with them, the complaint was, my manager is jealous of me. I can't work. I have to change. So they couldn't find the location for him within that city or a state, and he was moving. After the 5th one, I said, listen, the manager keep following you. Do you consider maybe it's you? Like, is this exactly what you're saying? The pattern that they're not aware of. You mentioned about work with individuals. The nature of organization development, OD, is working on 8 different levels, right? Because we talk about it in the book. The first level is level of individual, which is, I think, is the most important. Some of my mentors might not agree with me, but I think personally, given the coaching I have done, individuals make teams, individuals make groups and departments and organizations. Without individuals, there is nothing. So if an individual is not aware of their mindset, if they're not conscious about how they think and how they act, that will have a ripple effect, domino effect in everybody else in their group. So organization development, or OD for short, work in 8 different levels that in our book, as you remember, we decided that we're going to only work on the level 1, 3, and 4. Why we escaped the level 2? Because level 2 is between 2 people or 3 people, which is usually individual coaching will work on that level. So in this book, for audience who watching, listening, we work on the first level first. Then we went to the team and group level. Team usually, in every organization, regardless of nature of their production, there are teams. And then sometimes the organization is multi-city or multinational or multi-state. They have different teams that make a group that work in this particular organization. And obviously the departmental organization itself. So individual is for well-being of teams, group, departments, or organization itself. And as a person who's committed to my own personal growth. I have worked a lot to recognize my pattern and recognize years ago, still the touch is still there, that avoiding authorities. People tell me what to do is like, bam, immediately. I know better than you. You're not boss of me. Don't tell me what to do. This is all going on in unconsciousness that literally given like a battery that suddenly get charged, I start resisting first. Then I have to remind myself about the prices I paid for this kind of behavior or this kind of mental state or this kind of resistance. And it's not worth it. And as a professional coach, we really have to be aware of our own lack of consciousness about where we get triggered. And I made that a model for myself. I always tell myself, your client mirroring you. So who you are being in that moment that you're receiving that kind of resistance. And it's funny when you let go of the resistance and you hear more, you see more pattern. So obviously, writing like that need a lot of examples, a lot of pointing, which we did our best to have it as much as possible in the book. If not, I think right now the book ending around 400 pages, which is not a small book. But if you were to go to that much detail, would have be 2 or 3 volumes, each one 400 pages.
Yes, the book is written so that any organization, any leader, any manager can take this book and really operate from it within their company. And that was our intention, really, to do that. A couple of things that you said, I think it's very important. It takes, there's a system that can get created, obviously, by the individuals, and an up to down concept of how the leadership, how the top leadership creates the context for the whole organization. How does the manager create a context for the whole organization? And if they created that system, awareingly, consciously, and they're operating from it, any individual that comes into the system can adapt to the system that is healthy and become part of that. So that's one way of looking at it, which, from bringing the awareness integration, we do offer how you could create that system where each individual, as they come in, they can be a part of this system. But you also said something which is very appropriate, which is, on the other hand, an individual can also come into a system that's already there. And if the system is not strong enough, any individual can come in and move the system, disrupt the system, or even if a system is not productive or efficient, an individual who is a leader, who is awakened, that can actually come in and shift the system to a better place. So it's a dance between the power of the individual, the consciousness of the individual, how they know how to move an organization forward and really create and be an influencer and create amazing, disruptive to the point of being positive or negative. And then there's also a system that can be there, and the system can be open enough and yet so much on integrity that can take individuals who are possibly taking it to the disruptive space, bringing them back into a higher level of what the organization mission is, and hold them in that, and actually upgrade the individual's experience to a more positive experience that they can move forward. So that was one element which I think it's important to look at, that become aware of what kind of a system are we running in an organization, and how can we create that system which is solid and yet open, in order to be able to move forward, self-correct, because each individual is responsible and accountable in how it can self-correct consistently and move forward.
Yeah, the system that you're talking about, Dr. Foojan, is a culture of organization. That culture any individual, regardless of how good the organization is, still there is a turnover. Still there is people leaving for any reason. Could be any reason under the sun. But the people who come in, some of them coming from very abusive culture in some organization, and they come in with that shields up to the new organization that might have one of the best cultures ever, right? A very empowering, engaging culture. But they are not aware of the resistance. They come in like you're going from abusive marriage, you're divorcing, you're going to another marriage. What you gonna? It's very natural that your defense system is up, right? So I make this point to inside that system, that culture, the awareness of that managers, from executive to the middle one to lower one to the foremen on the floor, that awareness make a huge difference to the degree of how fast they can remove that resistance and have this new person come in accepting the culture. Engagement is something that many organizations are spending a lot of capital and resources to have and to build. I am very hopeful that many organizations can read the books like this to actually have organization awareness, like a policy awareness. Some things need to change, especially in this day and time that things like rocks pulling off our legs every day in terms of working with the organization. Just stopping the working on DEI, diversity, inclusion, and equity caused a lot of upset in academic area and organizational area that some people stop using it. And that actually take away a lot of hard work that many organizations did to create that empowering and engaging culture. Now, DEI is one element, but engagement have many more elements that I highly recommend people educate themselves about what it takes to create an empowering, engaging culture, to welcome new people that coming in and cause lack of resistance. So basically, eventually have a positive influence on productivity, performance, and bottom line, that is obviously the most important things for organizations.
Absolutely. And from another angle, I think that also every individual who is clear, for example, people get it that if you don't have a good family life, if you're not taking care of your body, your sleep, your hygiene, and your mental health, that you take this part of you who is already feeling miserable into a job, which you're going to be spending time on your own, whether you're working from home, where a lot of people right now are doing, or that you are in an office that you're dealing with people 8 to 10 hours. Or even if you are working at home, you're still part of a team that works well and moves forward, or it has to work well so that it can move forward the company. And if you're not aware of who you bring yourself as into any project, any communication, any sales, into the meeting, you're not watching that everything you do or not do influences and impacts the way that not only you show up, not only you are part of moving forward a team and the whole company, or you're someone who is constantly an obstacle instead of someone who flows. So the acknowledgement and the skills to become aware of yourself, not from a punitive place, not from shaming yourself or damning yourself and guilting yourself, but just an honest way of looking at how does my thinking and feeling, the way I come through, the way I behave, creates these either positive or negative impacts and influences in the way that I show up, so that I can get off of my concept of victimhood and be someone who can be empowering not only to myself and to others. And if there are truly areas in my life, such as intimate relationships, marriages, my relationship with my children, my parents, friends, my health, in any format, that if I can also work on those so that in every realm I'm bringing myself up and being responsible for, my own fulfillment and happiness, being true to myself, and in authentic communication with people that are around me. This kind of awareness and then application of how, not only that I'm aware of myself, but I'm always aware of how I'm relating to you outside of me.
Absolutely.
Moves these relationships, this level of collaborations and negotiations, in much more fruitful way.
This is not a one shot. Any of the things, any of the elements that you underline, none of them is a one shop that you go buy that and life is so good. It's a lifestyle you're talking about. So reading a book really might have impact, but as a lifestyle, when you're practicing it, when you're practicing emotional intelligence, for example, as a lifestyle, you're practicing positivity and having a positive influential is as a lifestyle, is not just one step shop, and it continue going. So as I always mention to my clients, there is not two of you, one in home and one at work. It's just one life. You have hours that you're spending in home, you have hours that you're spending at work. There's a leisure times, and then there is a professional times, all come together. So what you mentioned in Dr. Foojan is a lifestyle that I am really working on kind of bringing it to my client to understand having that peaceful, positive, empowering life is not just doing one course or just reading one book or doing one workshop. Is the continue thinking, continue being awareness of yourself, continue being conscious to your behavior, to your pattern, as you mentioned. So I find that in last 30 some years, very empowering. At least for myself, I can say, yes, I had many success. I had many more failure, and I learned from these failures by looking at, I always, after I did any courses, I have done many, many big public events. I sit back and ask myself 4 questions. 1, what did you say that you shouldn't have said? Right? We all know after the fact. What you haven't said that you should have said? What you have done that you shouldn't have done? What you haven't done yet that is more effective? And that is, now I'm realizing this kind of simple questions that I've designed for myself, it's a sourced by awareness. It's sourced by being responsible for your thought process, for your actions. Sometimes, you try to say something cute that it lands very wrong. Sometimes I didn't do something I knew I have done because I was concerned about looking good or how you're going to land. Now I'm talking in the domain of leading programs or leadership, but any of us can ask that kind of awareness, conscious question for ourselves. We always see the impact of what we say and what we do in other people's face. You see the facial expression change. That's a big red flag for me to, okay, you need to apologize right now. You need right now before it gets too late. Apologize for that impact, which most probably people don't have a bad intention. They're just not aware of how to have compassion, have empathy, to understand relationship with other people. That is one of the main reasons that I brought a lot of psychology and self-awareness and emotional intelligence to my work. And if the organization not willing to work on that, respectfully, I tell them, I'm not your guy. If you cannot work on yourself as a source of your business, then because organization development by nature, built from bottom up. We go to the floor first and build it up. If you want to go from top to bottom, which is a 19th century style management, it's always your fault. I have nothing to do with it. If you work harder, if you come sooner, if you not asking for raise, everything is okay. Not necessary. So I am empowered by concept of OD and very much pleased to add AIT to it, awareness integration to it, and make a difference. And thank you for hard work and years of work and research you have done on that domain.
Thank you. Yes, I've worked a lot with clients who are working in environments that are toxic. And, at one point is how do they, the more they become aware of themselves, that they know even questions they should ask when they're going to an interview to really look at the toxicity of an environment and a system before they get into it. And at one point having an understanding of, this is not an environment I want to work in. So that's the first concept of anybody who's going into an organization, a job, which they have some say so. They have some control about, do I want to be a part of this type of a culture or not? Getting to know that, even doing research around how do these people treat their employees, or is there a lot of turnover? And then look at how they're choosing to be there. How are they looking at, working into a system, learning the system, adapting to a system that they're going, and how to do the best that they can do in order to move either up the system or move the whole system and organization forward. And you could see a lot of people go into companies which there's high turnover because of what you just said, that the top person says, this is the way I want it. And anybody who doesn't show up the way I want them, I'm just going to, kick them out. So you have a turnover of people coming in, every three. So either you don't know how to hire people who are part of your culture and the way you want to go, or that you're not, the way that you're creating an environment for your employees to come in and be able to foster and, live their best. You're not creating that environment that can create the, living your best. And to find who you are, I remember, and I've had many organizations, I've started many companies. And some of the things that I had to really look at myself, which is, what am I good at? Like I'm really good at empowering people. I'm not really good at holding them to an accountability in that format. And it was interesting that, and I saw this on the other side too, if I went to a company and an authority who was more like motherly and nurturing, I would cross all boundaries and I would give them everything. I would work, 24 hours for them. I would just do everything for them. And then if an authority was not in that kind of nurturing level, I would, bang heads and, I was going to have it my way. Even when I became the boss in so many of the organizations, when I was doing my leadership out of motherhood and motherly angle, I would give a lot, but then I wouldn't hold boundaries or keep them accountable and move forward. So a lot of the tasks would fall and, the company wouldn't move forward. And anytime that I wanted to shift to really become an authority, somehow I would do it in a way that they would feel betrayed by me and they would get upset with me. So at one point, I needed to really look at how I was, the concept of the duality between a leader should be so loving, but not authoritative, wasn't working. Neither way was working for me. Having the knowledge of this and at one point awareness of this, I had to figure out which positions I would be best at. Even as a leader in a company, would I be taking the positions of, maybe I was best at moving the company forward with visions, but the day-to-day management really needed to be with another person who was interested in holding that skill. And either I had to get interested in impacting and creating that skill, or if I'm not interested, I just need to move toward, visionary aspect of being a leader versus day-to-day management. These type of awarenesses where you really become aware of who you are and what are you best at and what you're not best at, either get trained in it and do it, or collaborate with another group who are amazing at it. These are the key, not only as an employee when you walk in somewhere to being aware of it, but also whether you have a mom and pop organization of only like 2 to 3 employees, or you have, thousands and thousands of employees across the globe. This is the first step where you got to start working at.
Absolutely. So there is no end. There is no end in this learning. It's more of journey versus goal to fulfill. And as you go further and further, deeper and deeper on that self-awareness, there is more layer of self-understanding that as a manager or as a coach or as somebody who's dealing with people you have to deal with. So I highly recommend people, audience that watching this, go pre-order this book for yourself. According to Taylor and Francis in Amazon, book is available in May 13th, releasing on May 13th, but obviously they might move the date a couple days up and down, depending to the people who do page setting and actually printing it. But they can actually order it, pre-order with a little bit of discount, I believe, available in Amazon for that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure, don't quote me. But,
everyone, Awakened Leadership, Uniting Organization Development and Awareness Integration Therapy. I mean, theory, basically, not therapy, but the theory, because we implemented the concept of the theory into the system of an organization, and how to, not only as an individual, how you show up in an organization, as a team member or someone who creates the team, how do you show up? As a mid-management or executives, how do you show up? As a visionary in a company, how do you show up, and how do you, create a culture for that company from the best of you, not from your fears, not from how you're trying to create something above and beyond of who you are, but who you are authentically, and how not only you live those principles, but you share those principles. A lot of times we hear like, you don't, the person says a lot of stuff, but when it comes to actually having, those principles lived, they're not doing it in the meetings. They're not doing it in the day-to-day job. And how to be able to offer and hold on to certain values, principles, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, where you could walk the walk. You could every day be proud of yourself in how you've upheld that, not only for yourself, but everyone who, as a team, comes together and creates, a company together and offers some sort of a service to another group who are also partners.
Speaking of walking the walk, I need to mention that this book have the both aspects of practical virtue of the organization development and then psychological virtue of it also. So the book have a lot of practices in it, a lot of tools in it that people can use on day-to-day operation, a lot of explanation of what we are talking about and how they can implement it is one of the products that I'm very proud of.
Beautiful. 1 minute, is there anything we haven't shared that you really want people to know?
That learning is a journey. Learning is not a one-time, one-shop stop. Is keep learning and keep digging into what your interest is, what your passion is. I find my interest and passion, invested a lot of time, capital, resources on it, and it's showing up on my publications that I'm proud to say now publishers coming to me and requesting, or coming to us as a team, requesting some topics, which is very empowering.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time, not only to write this book together, but also to being on the show. and sharing your wisdom with everybody.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the next book.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And for everyone who's out there, go to Amazon, get the book, Awakened Leader. And I will see you next week. Create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. And until next week, take care. Bye-bye.
Are you a psychotherapist looking to enhance your practice? The Awareness Integration Therapy developed by Dr. Foojan Zeine is a comprehensive guide to the principle and techniques of this powerful therapeutic approach. Join the growing community who have elevated their practice and expanded their skills by embracing Awareness Integration Therapy and witnessing its life-changing impact. Order your copy on Amazon now.
Break free from the forces holding you back. Get the life you deserve. Eliminate stress, reduce anxiety, decrease depression, and start living your full potential. Thousands have used Dr. Foojan Zeine's Awareness Integration Theory, an evidence-based behavioral health breakthrough with incredible life-changing results. Getting rid of past trauma, having fulfilling relationships, increasing earnings, and living their best life. Now, the Foojan app is available to everyone. The app is Dr. Foojan Zeine's Awareness Integration Theory in the palm of your hand. Download the Foojan app today.